What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Logistical Styles coming at you with another video, and today I'm doing a product review. I mentioned it in my previous video. You got to hear what they sound like, but I got some new wireless mics and I'm going to show you a comparison of what I was using previously, what I'm using right now, and then we're going to switch over to the mic after I get to show you what it is. But let's hop into this video and I can show you these new mics. Okay, so this is the product right here. This is the Rode Wireless Go 2. This is the latest version of the Rode Wireless Go mic. When I first found this mic online and I was looking for it, it was just the Rode Wireless Go. And I'm glad I did not get it when I was originally planning on buying it, because the Rode Wireless Go 2 came out and the improvements are so much better, or they make the mic such a better value. The newer version is only $100 more. It's $300 for this, and then the Rode Wireless Go is $200, but that extra $100 really gives you a lot more features, and I'm gonna show you as we go through this. So this is the box that it comes in. I've already opened it up and took the product out, but this is the small little box that it comes in. And in the box you get two wireless transmitters and one wireless receiver, a bunch of cables. The mics, they transmit at 2.4 gigahertz frequency, which is a pretty common wireless frequency, so you might want to be wary of any interference, but I haven't had any interference while I've been using these. So they have a great range. I believe they go up to 200 meters with this newer version. I believe the older version was up to 150 meters of reception, but so far I have not had any issues, and I'm going to do test out in the field like I did with my other wireless mic that I did in my previous video about 2 videos ago, and I'm going to do the same kind of test, and you're going to see how well these mics work, and you'll see a couple of different use cases for them to show you that it's not just something that a videographer or a vlogger would use, or something that a wedding DJ would use, or there's a lot of different uses for it, and we're going to cover that in this video. So this might be a kind of a long video, hoping to keep it under an hour, but there's a lot to show you in this amount of time. So let's just jump into it. Like I said, this is the box, and in the box you get a couple of things. First you get these two receiver or transmitters. Previously it was just one transmitter in the box for the Wireless Go, but with the Wireless Go 2 you get two transmitters, and they both transmit to the wireless receiver. Let me grab that. I've got it sitting on the charger right now. Okay, this is the receiver, the wireless receiver, and it's got a little LCD screen on it. Let me go ahead and turn the power on. There's a little button on top that you use to turn it on. You see the display. Hopefully you can see it from the camera, but it will show you the status of the two microphones that are included with it. Right now they're off, but when I turn them on by holding down the power button on the bottom, it is going to light up blue on here. You get two blue bars, and then once you have the second one turned on with the blue bars, you'll see that on the face of the receiver that channel 1 and channel 2 are transmitting. You can see the battery strength for both transmitters and for the receiver, and you can see the signal strength as well. In addition to that, you can also see the volume level. You have a volume meter, so you can monitor your volume levels when you're recording. And you have a USB-C connection on each of these three, and that's important. It's not just for charging, but it's also for updating the firmware, and I'm going to get into the firmware update in a minute. There's also a output that you would use to connect this to your mobile device, your computer, or your camera, or whatever you're using to record with. And we're going to go through this setup as well to show you what all these buttons do. There's a button for your decibels, so you can bring it down a little. There's also a button for pairing and linking the two mics up, because there's a couple of different ways that the mic works. They can work separately on separate channels. Each mic would get a separate channel, and then that would help you in post-production when it's time to mix down or get your sound levels right. Or you can have them both linked up and they're both shooting into one channel into the mic or into a receiver going into the recording device, and you'll get one channel. It'll be a stereo channel, but it'll include both the receivers or transmitters. So right now, I'm using my old way of recording myself wirelessly. Some of my older videos, I had a microphone boom set up, and it's cool. It puts it in the right position, but it also blocks me from the camera. So I wanted to do something that wasn't going to have a stand in front of me, between me and the camera. And what I'm using right now is my Shure GLXD lavalier mic. And this is what I normally use for my DJ gigs, my mobile gigs, my weddings, ceremonies, anything where you might need to mic somebody up. And it works great for that, but I've also been just putting it to use for my recordings. I've run this into my Mackie sound mixer, and the Mackie sound mixer runs into the phone. Now, it's a good way to get good quality audio, but it's only really practical when I'm in the studio. If I'm out on the go, it's just too much equipment, because in addition to this body pack and lavalier that I'm wearing, I also have to have the box that has, you know, the receiver and the battery charger, and it requires its own power outlet. So it's a lot to do or use just to get some good quality audio. So what these allow me to do, these allow me to mic myself up, or another person as well, and I can just connect this device directly into my phone, and I'll get the quality audio. In addition to these three pieces, you also get some wind muffs that you can add on to the transmitters, so they don't pick up a lot of wind noise. Also, it's not in here, but I had to get a separate container for it, but you get a lot of cables with this. So I'm starting up to amass a whole lot of cables, but they come in handy for different situations. So in the box, you get this cable. This is a TRS to TRS cable that will allow you to connect this receiver into a phone that has a headphone jack that allows you to send audio in that way, or if you were recording into your computer. Well, I have an iPhone, so you know iPhones require dongles and adapters, and in order to use this with my iPhone, which has a lightning connection, I had to buy this cable. And this is a generic version, but it looks identical to the one that Rode makes, except the one Rode makes is probably like about 25, 30 bucks. And this is something I got off of Amazon for $7. In addition to that, you need your Apple Lightning to 3.5 millimeter adapter. I've already had this because this is what I normally use to listen to music in the car, and it also allows me to receive and answer calls. But it's important because it allows you to put audio into your device that has a Lightning input. So this would go into the Lightning input on the camera, this gray end, and then this black end goes into the receiver, and it would just hang off of the receiver, and I could see my levels from where I'm standing. I can just get clean audio into the camera that way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the switch over so you can see the difference, or you can see you can see the difference between what I've been using with this Shure microphone setup and then with this Rode microphone setup. And I'm hoping that I'm expecting the quality to be about this equal, or maybe even better with the Rode, because I mean, these are quality brands. These brands have been making microphones and headphones for years, decades. You know, Rode is a really respected name in the microphone business. So let's go ahead and make the switch over, and you'll get to see what it sounds like when I'm using 1, 2, or have it connected to my body, or even just sitting in front of me, because there's a lot of different ways you can use this to get that quality audio. So let's make the switch, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are. We've made the switch over, and now I'm wearing the Rode wireless mic. I've got the receiver hooked up to my phone, as I explained previously, and then I'm holding the second receiver or transmitter. I keep getting it switched mixed up. One cool thing about these air muffs or these wind muffs is the way that they improved the design on these compared to the first ones. The first ones, you just kind of click them on and then they easily fell off. These new ones, they allow you to snap it in and twist it so it stays on tight. The clips that come on the transmitters, they clip on really well. I'm actually wearing one transmitter right here on my shirt on the inside. I've seen some people wear them and they have it on the outside, but to me it's a little bit distracting because you have the blue lights that are showing up in your picture. It's shiny. It's just a distraction to have it, even, you know, just wherever you put it. But if you turn it around, like I have it here, and just have the clip facing out, people won't really notice it, especially if you're wearing a black shirt. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this one off. All right, this one just went off. So right now you're just listening to the sound of me wearing the Rode Wireless Go on myself. And this is what it sounds like, and this is how clearly it picks things up. So now let's do another switch up. I'm going to, let me take off this wind muff. I am going to place both of them. I'm going to turn the other one on. All right, it's on. I'm going to place it here in front of the turntable, in front of the Rain 12, and then the other one, I'm going to place it right here on the other side. So now I'm getting a stereo field or a stereo pickup, but I want to really see how well it picks up, because sometimes you don't want to wear the wireless mic. You just want to have it nearby and see what kind of audio quality it gets. And it may not necessarily need to be down there. It could be just right here in front of me, because the mics are on top right there. So if I just place it towards myself, put it on the clip, it kind of leans up and it's facing me. So now I'm getting both mics picking me up, and I'm not wearing it, and this is what it sounds like. So the next step we want to do is we want to do experiment, because I'm going to take out the Harbinger speaker, because it has an aux input. I'm going to connect it to that, and then I'm also going to do some recording to see what it sounds like doing line input into the speaker and then line input into the camera outside, and we'll do a distance test to see how far I can walk away and whether or not it picks up or whether it drops off. So let's go ahead and make that change. All right, so here we are. We are in the driveway in my yard, and right now I am just wearing the same way it was set up in the studio downstairs. I'm just wearing one receiver right now. It's hooked onto my shirt, and the mic or the receiver is hooked up to the camera. We're going to do a quick range test, and then this is going to be a range test with direct audio coming from the mic into the camera, and then we'll do another range test where I'll show you how I'm able to hook up the receiver into this Harbinger speaker, because it has the auxiliary input on channel 3. So I'm going to hook it up to there, and then you'll be able to see how this could also be used not just for capturing good audio for your videos, but also for using it in a situation like a wedding ceremony where you might want to have a sensitive mic hooked up to where they'll be saying their vows. So you'll see how well it transmits from across the yard to the speaker. And that's about 150 feet. If I go a little bit past the tree line, then it gets into about 200 feet. But we'll see how well this works. So I'm gonna do like I did in the other video. I'll stop halfway through. I'll be talking as I'm going across, but to make things a little bit quicker, I'm gonna speed it up as I'm walking across and back. So let me just get the camera into place. Okay, so now we've got the camera in place. I'm about 7-10 feet away from the camera, and this is what it sounds like. I'm sure you're picking up a lot of noise from the cars driving and the birds and everything, but hopefully it's not too distracting, and it'll also be a testament to see how sensitive this mic is and how well it picks up noise and even separates some of the ambient noise versus the sound of my voice. So I'm going to do a little quick walk through the yard. Probably a good 75 feet away from the microphone and the camera. We're going to keep walking a little bit further. Just continue walking and you can... All right, so check one. Now we're doing something a little bit different. I'm still wearing the receiver on me, but I had to do a swap out. Right now I'm wearing the transmitter on me. I had to swap out and put the receiver on to the speaker. Go. All right, so I had a couple of hiccups during the recording as I watched back the playback, and I noticed a couple of things. So my microphone on my iPhone that I'm using to record this, the built-in microphone it's damaged, it's crap, it doesn't record well at all. I'll show you a sample of what it sounds like or what I got, but my microphone or my iPhone only does really well when I'm recording direct audio into it, which is why I'm wearing my pop voice mic that I recommended a year and a half or so ago. This is a great mic if you just need a wired, inexpensive mic to hook up to your camera. This works really well, but I'm using this to record my audio, my voice right now. I'm still wearing the Rode wireless mic, but it is hooked up into the input on the Harbinger speaker. It's got an auxiliary input, so I've got the mic hooked up to that. And I'm going to go ahead and do my test again. This time I'm going to take off this lapel mic, place it by the speaker so you can hear whether or not it's actually picking up, transmitting, or dropping the signal as I do my distance test. And the mic is just connected to the speaker using the cable that came with it, which is just the regular TRS to TRS cable on both ends, compared to the TRS to TRRS cable I had to use in order to connect my cell phone up earlier. So let's go ahead and do this test. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see me as I walk. I'm going to go ahead and switch my microphone over here. Let's turn the camera around. And here we go. So here I am about 10-12 feet away from the speaker and the camera. The receiver is actually plugged into the speaker, so this is where my focus of attention is going to be. It sounds really good right now. I'm a little close and the speaker is directly in front of me, so I know if I walk a little closer I'll get some feedback, and you can probably hear a little hollowness in the sound since I'm so close. But let me get away from it. Let's do a quick test and see how this works. So I'm going to walk to my halfway point, which is about 75 feet. I know there's a lot of noise coming from the road. There's a lot of cars suddenly coming down the street now that I'm recording. But here we go. I'm still sounding good. I can hear everything. I'm at the 75 foot or so mark, and everything seems to be working really well. I'm going to walk a little bit further. Going to get down to... All right, so we did both tests, and I got a chance to actually go through the footage and look at it, and I realize now that I got the same thing pretty much both ways when I was transmitting into the speaker directly or when I'm transmitting right into the cell phone directly. I get good audio probably up until I get around here by this barrel or a little bit further from here. The audio is really good and it's strong and you don't get the dropouts. But I noticed that each time for those two tests that I did, once I got around here and I turned my back to start walking that way, you started hearing the dropouts. And I think one thing that I didn't really take into account for that is the microphone or the transmitter is on the front of me. And when I turn my back, I become another obstacle to block me from getting a good transmission to the receiver. So I think in cases where you are going to kind of push it and get your distance, you have to take into account obstacles such as the human body, if that's going to be blocking the transmission. Because if I walk backwards, then the audio seems to still really do well. Now, I won't be able to tell until I look back in the editing process, but that's something I noticed when I looked at the footage I recorded earlier. So I believe at this point I would still be getting good audio. And another thing to also take in consideration is movement. Sometimes that might cause there to be some problems. But if you're stationary and you're just interviewing somebody one-on-one, you would probably not have those issues. I believe I'm coming in clearly right now. But I just wanted to make this note because I was looking at the footage, and I think this would really explain what you just witnessed or what you just watched with the two previous tests. So now we can go back into the studio, and I can give my wrap up and show you how to also use the Rode Central app on your computer to update the firmware to use another feature of these mics. Okay, and there you have it. Those were two tests outside in the field using this mic under two circumstances. One is pretty much how I'm using it right now with the receiver plugged directly into the camera and me wearing the mic. And then there was the example of the receiver plugged directly into a loudspeaker and being amplified. And the range test showed that probably around the 75-foot area I was doing really well, but once I turned and put myself as an obstacle for my signal to get to the receiver, and once I started moving, it started to get dropouts, and the sound started to break up until I became stationary and faced the receiver. And at that point, I was about 150 feet away, but I was stationary. I was facing the receiver with no obstacle. It was a clear line of sight, and the sound was good. It was just me turning my back and moving, that's when you had the breakups and the dropouts in the audio. And I also want to correct what I said earlier in the video. It's not 100 or 200 meters. It's feet we're talking about. So we're talking about 150 feet. I was good with a clear line of sight. Definitely once you started introducing obstacles like bodies or trees and bushes, then you started having problems. So I would say if you're going to use this outdoors, kind of use it within that 100-foot range, and just be aware of your surroundings. But I definitely like the way that the mic sounds. Overall, even when I've done some of the reviewing of the footage, I noticed that even compared to the Shure microphone that I start the video wearing, the sound is much better. I noticed that the Shure does pick up some weird noises. I'm not sure if it's a frequency that it's picking up or if it's just sound from all this electronic equipment in the room, but I don't get that at all from the Rode mic. So I really like that. I think the audio is very clear, and I think that it's very easy to set up and hook up to your camera. You can do it when you're out in the field. You can do it when you're in the studio, and there's minimal setup time and minimal breakdown time. Definitely want to recommend these. And let's just go ahead and take a look at the app that you would use on your computer to update the firmware and to get the audio recordings off of the devices. Now I'm going to show you how to get to the or how to use the Rode Central app. So on my Mac, I'm going to go to my Launchpad, then swipe over to Rode Central. This is an app that you can download from the Rode website, and when you click on it, you can get this also for Windows or for Mac. But when you click on it, you'll have this blank screen right here, and it's going to tell you to please connect a Rode device to get started. So that's where you take your cable that's a USB-C on one end and regular USB on the other end, plug it into a port on your computer, and then it takes a second, and then before you know it, it pulls up that device, and you see that there's a list of recordings. Well, to get to this feature, you have to go into your settings, and from here, you can check your firmware. This will allow you to update your firmware. In this case, my firmware is up to date. It's 1.6.0. When you get it out the box, I believe it's going to come at 1.5.3. But once you do this update, this will allow you to be able to get the recordings. Every time you turn on the device, it starts recording. You can set, well, that's a setting you can do in the app. You need the app to do this. So I can tell it to always record once I have it turned on. Or I can tell it to apply the pad. I believe that just brings down the volume a little bit. You can control the dimness and the brightness of the LEDs. And you can tell what that button, the power button, does. This button right here with the O symbol from the Rode logo, if you hold it down, it is your power on off button. But while you're recording, if you hit it once, you can make it mute the microphone, or you can make it put a marker so that when you look at the recordings, you can see that you placed a marker because maybe you said something important that you want to be able to reference. Me, I keep it on mute. You can also choose to make it do nothing, but I choose to have it as mute. And mine are set to always record when the device is on. So right now I'm actually recording the audio for this segment of the video with the Rode Go, one of the receivers, and I'm going to download it later on and line it up with the screen capture that you're seeing right here. And that would be, if you go here, you click on one of the recordings, you can see the WAV file for what it was that you recorded. You can see a timeline on the bottom, so you can kind of find out where you were. If you had it set to put markers, you would see little markers, little flags located in the recording. And then you have the option to export. You can go ahead and click here, and this will allow you to export it as a WAV file or as an MP3. You can choose the bit rate and the frequency, and you can export it to any location on your computer. I usually export it to my desktop and then place it where I want to place it once it's there. So once you go back to the settings gear, you can also empty all of the recordings from here. Hit that empty and that will just delete them all. So this little thing acts, it's almost like it's got a built-in flash drive. And you know, flash drive memory is so cheap and so small. So I'm not even sure how much memory is on this device, but it has enough that it can store over 5 hours of uncompressed audio on that one device. And the battery life, I believe, on this thing is only 6 hours. So that's a lot of time. And if you're doing compressed audio, you can get even more time. I think it's like 40 hours or so of recorded compressed audio. So this is the app. Gives you enough information and control to be able to update and to get the recordings from your receivers. All right, and there you have it. That is my pretty in-depth review of everything, the microphone, the receivers, the cables, and I showed you how it worked in the field, connected to a speaker, how it worked connected to a camera, how it works in the studio, compared it to another microphone, and I showed you how it works with the app so you can update it, so you can get the feature of being able to pull your audio off of the device itself. So now with that said and done, I think that brings this review to an end, and I just want to go over a couple of things real quick. Please remember to continue to subscribe and watch the channel, share it, the videos, if you like what you see. If you don't like what you see, let me know so I can change some things as well. And then also, don't forget that I still have the giveaway for the 1,000 subscribers to get that Guardians of the Galaxy vinyl. That's still available. 20th commenter, that goes out to you. And then for this video, as I did promise last week that I was going to do a giveaway, and this is basically my my extra stuff giveaway. This is some extra stuff that came with the mixer that I already had or don't really need. And the first thing is a Serato DJ Pro pitch and time license. I'm giving that away. And I have a official Serato Control CD, giving that away as well. Both of these came with the mixer. I have pitch and time already. I use it, and I've done a video on the pitch play and explained that. I'll probably do another one that's a little bit more updated, but if you want to use that, you'll need a license for pitch and time from Serato. So that's what this is. And then I don't really use CDJs. I don't use CDJs, so I have no need for the control tone vinyl or CD. If I really needed to rip it, I could get it from my vinyl itself. So I'm going to include that and some Serato stickers as well, because I'm starting to get a lot of those piling up. So if you can name the microphone that I used, not the Rode wireless, but if there was a lapel microphone I used when I was outside doing the test, and I've also done a review on that video about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago. And if you can name that and put it in the comments, first person who can name it and put it in the comments, I'll reach out to you and send you this license for pitch and time and the control CD and the stickers. I'll make it easy because y'all are having trouble getting to that 20th comment on the other video. But just go ahead, look at the video. If you watched the video, I've mentioned it in this video while I was out there testing it with the speaker, and I've also done a video, so you can look through my previous videos and you can see what the name of it is if you're really that hungry for this giveaway. But either way, I will give it to you. You name it. The first person to name it in the comments, I'll reach out to you, get your contact information so we can mail it out to you. So with that said and done and all that taken care of, I think it's time to sign out. I will see you real soon with another video, because I've got a couple of really good ideas that I think will be very interesting topics to discuss. So until then, this is your boy Logistical Styles, and I am out. Peace.